Hey everybody, it's Christine, and today I am showcasing a project that I made for Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. I am using the newest kit from the scrap room, and today I'm focusing on the page kit that has the, let me double check the name here, Imagine That Boy collection from Echo Park. There are so many boy collections out right now and so many names that I can't keep them all straight, so I didn't want to mess that up for you. So I am using the fun colors in this and creating a background. Now I'm basing the whole thing on a sketch because I just needed some added inspiration. I was tired when I was working on this, and sketches always seem to get things going a little bit quicker for me, so I opted for that route. So that's going to be where you're going to see the basics going on. That is a sketch available through the scrap room. Now I'm kicking things off using my Easy Runner Grand, always a great way to get things done quickly. It always works smoothly for me, lightweight, and it is so easy to load. I just love that thing. I can't even imagine scrapbooking without it anymore. So you can see I'm using it to add all my background pieces, which include that very busy triangle pattern and the reverse side of it, which is a galaxy style page and very simple and calm. I really loved that one, the galaxy side of it. Well, I like the triangle side of it too, actually, but I really love the galaxy look. I wanted to use that as much as I could, but I also knew I needed to include some colors and patterns in there. So that's how I worked both of those in. And you can see I'm adding them all onto an additional piece of cardstock because I'm piecing the whole background together. So now I'm adding this rusty red monochromatic paper to the center there. Now this layout is kind of a fun one. It is about my sons, and they are sitting and waiting for their sister getting her first manicure. And so you'll see the title come into that, and it's just a really fun one. They have goofy faces, and I took pictures of them making the faces because I just thought it would make a fun layout, tell the fun story of that day. So bringing in some Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L stuff. So this here is an adhesive sheet. These come in various sizes. I am going to use the 4x6 size today, and I am going to use these to create the look of a mixed media background without having to get things wet. Sometimes you just don't want to deal with the wetness of mixed media, and a lot of times the backgrounds that I want to create require wet, but I wanted dry. So what I've done is kind of torn up the edges of that 4x6 piece, and then I am just setting it down on my layout and tearing it up, not carefully. I don't want it all to stay down. And you can see as it's coming up, it's very splotchy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some white embossing powder, and I'm going to specifically go for some opaque embossing powder because I don't want it to blend into the background. And I'm going to just tap that off after I've poured it all over, and then I'm going to heat it up. And what that's going to do is create that look of mixed media, but in a different way. One of the things I like about doing this approach is that it gives you not only that added color and messy look, but it gives you a little bit of texture because that embossing powder is raised and has that funky texture that we love about embossing powder. Now, in the end, I was not quite happy with the amount that I have there. I wanted a little bit more. So I am going to go ahead and add some more along the outside there and even go up a little bit using a second 4x6 sheet. However, I didn't really want you to have to sit through 10 minutes of me doing that, and so I left that part off, but that's why you see there's more to it there than there was in that first part. And you can see how nicely it makes the background just kind of have a weird pop to it and just a different, a whole different look than you've seen before. And one of the things I love about their adhesives is there's just so many fun ways to play with them. Yes, they work great for just being straight up adhesives, but they're also really fun for trying to figure out some cool way to wear them on the outside and use them in a way that people don't think of. Oftentimes spurring on some creativity that you just wouldn't have expected with adhesives. So now, carrying on, I'm going to create my title. Now, this title kind of popped out at me as I was working, and I thought it would be a really fun play on words. And so what I'm going to create is the title saying, "Nailed it." So since we're at a nail salon and their sister's getting nails done and the boys have goofy faces, I thought that would be perfect. You know, people use that phrase all the time now when things go a little, well, sometimes they use it when things go well, but sometimes they use it when things go the opposite of planned as well. I just thought it was a fun play on words. So I worked that in, and I used just some old stickers from Bella Boulevard to make it work. Now I want to show you another way I'm going to use the adhesive sheets, and this time what I'm going to do is run them through my die cutting machine. I have some metal dies out, and all I'm doing is I am just cutting. I've secured my patterned paper onto the adhesive sheet, and I am just cutting that out, and so that I don't have a lot of waste. I didn't want to use too much. And then I'm going to put my stars onto each of those little triangles. So the reason I had to cut it all out was I wanted to get all these different colors, and so the way to achieve that with what I was working with was to use those little triangles. So I've pulled out just these teeny tiny metal dies, and I'm just securing them with washi tape onto the color that I want them to be, and I'm going to run them right through. Now, why go through all that work? Well, these are tiny little pieces. So what this is going to do is this is going to turn them into stickers for me. They have the adhesive sheet on the back now, so I can easily secure them. And I did it for all of them. Some of them I decided I actually wanted to pop them up, but this way they were ready to roll one way or the other, and I didn't have to go back and try and find an adhesive or use a tape runner or any of that messier stuff to make it work. This was just a quick and easy way to get the adhesive on there. This also works great for really big, complicated dies, things that have a lot of detail to them. You can just put the paper right onto your adhesive sheet and run it through, and then pull it off, and you've got adhesive on there. Super great way to just make using metal die cuts a little bit more simple. And with the availability of different sizes for these adhesive sheets, you can get them even bigger as you need them. So now let's carry on with the embellishing part. Always my favorite part of the creation is this last step where I get to take the picture and the title and pull it all together. So I am going to add a couple little tags up there by the title just to bring in some more color up there, as well as to begin to create the direction I want the layout to go. So I'm going to add on these stars, and like I said, some of them I'm going to actually pop up with 3D foam circles. I'm going to use the smaller size, and some of them I'm going to pull the adhesive off the back and just put them on there flat. One of the things I really like to do when I'm adding little embellishments like this is to mix it up. I want some to be flat, I want some to be higher, and so that is a nice advantage of having these adhesives on hand. You can make those choices. And I'm going to say those stars, popping them up with the 3D foam squares, would have been a much bigger pain than having the 3D foam circles, which are pretty much brand new to Scrapbook Adhesives. The circles are just easier. They don't have anything that sticks out. Squares are a little bit tricky when it comes to stars. So this is another shape that I hadn't thought of until this point that the circles really are a better fit for, and will just make things a lot easier having both of those on hand. So you can see now I am building kind of in a diagonal, but not all the way across the layout. I'm starting down there at the bottom right corner of the picture and adding those stars, and then I'm working my way up to the left-hand upper side over there by the title and above the tags, all to create some movement across the layout and draw that eye down from the top all the way into the picture and back out the right-hand side. Finally, I'm going to add on some journaling because this was kind of a random layout. Weird to put pictures of little boys making weird faces on. So I wanted to make sure I had documented the story of it. And since it wasn't too personal, easy enough to put the journaling on the front. So I just made 2 little white strips. They're just a 1/2 inch tall, and put my handwriting on them, and then just tuck them in there on the bottom left side of the picture. And then I'm going to add a few stars in there, and also add in some enamel dots and create that visual triangle between the three sets of stars, as well as kind of carrying that it doesn't carry too far off the path of movement with the stars either. So all of those things come together to make a really fun boy layout that tells a cute story that not only my boys but also my daughter will have fun looking back at as they remember her 10th birthday. So thank you so much for being here today. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and also be sure to check out those adhesive sheets over at Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. They are a fun product. They are not new for them. They've had them for a while, and you really get some good bang for your buck on those sheets from them. We will see you again soon. Thanks for stopping by.